Hello and welcome to Centurion's Corner, and we are going through another 5 figures this week, and this is what I've been up to in the previous week that hasn't hit the channel, so it's a case where we can just sit and hang out and just show you what I've been up to and what I've been purchasing as well from the second-hand market as well. And yeah, so we got Snake Eyes over here. I've actually purchased him a little while ago when I got Storm Shadow, to be honest with you, because I needed both of them on the display. But I was a little bit kind of like, he's not as good as I thought. His limbs are quite sort of loose, and he wasn't second hand either. It was brand new. I got a kind of like a restocking of, I think it was on Kapow. But when he come through, I just thought he weren't that great. Yeah, I know Snake Eyes is meant to be sort of all black, but I just kind of wanted a bit of different colours on there to sort of differentiate from just all the blackness. So I silvered off his visor on here. I just feel like it should be silver. I've added a few bits of gunmetal around on his chin guard, on his shoulder pads, and on his grenades as well. I've actually glued in the bandolier as well, and all his side pouches that he has on the arms and on the belt, because I just get... It was just adding extra effort to the figure. They was just hanging off and they're going around. So having just glued him to place as well, it just feels a lot better. It doesn't get in the way of his articulation or at all like that. So I haven't hindered the figure at all. And I just silvered off the sword as well, just to give it a little bit difference. Rather than just being all black. But now I'm enjoying the figure a little bit more, and it's just adding those extra paint details on there that actually sort of just makes the figure just that little bit better to make you enjoy it a bit more. So if you do feel like you want to change something about a figure, then go ahead. So that was Snake Eyes, and speaking of changing a figure just for the better, I actually purchased the Apocalypse Magneto, because I wanted the traditional Magneto, but I wanted to just try it out. So I actually got this for quite cheap. I think it was like £10. And yeah, I just went along and just actually painted him up purple and added some extra red to his gauntlets on the side here. These bits are normally purple, so I've added the red. Added the red to these bits down here. Actually, I need to tidy him up. Completely forgot before I went on to the video. But and purpled his pants as well, and then also purpled his whole entire collar and his cape. And I've actually glued the cape into place as well by putting a big blob of glue there, so it doesn't flap around and all that, because it was a big annoying bit of plastic. Probably needs a bit of a matte spray on there because it is very glossy. And if you do know the Magneto as well, he has really long hair. So what I've done is just literally just lopped it off. You can see underneath there, the hair actually comes from underneath the helmet, so you can actually just lop it off and you won't lose any of the articulation, and it works well with the head. So if you want a cheap Magneto, then go out there and just purchase this one, because I think he's going for about $12.99 now, which is pretty cool. And for the paint on this one as well, so I'll put him back over there. With the reds, it was kind of a combination. I just added a little bit of black into it just to lower the tone of it, but for the purple I actually used X16 Tamara purple on that one, and that was literally straight out the pot, straight onto that guy there, and it was quite a good match, to be honest with you. The third one here in the lineup, well, I just recently done a Black Widow review on the channel. I love Black Widow. I think she's a fantastic character, but unfortunately the Marvel Legends version of her weren't that great. So I picked up a second-hand retro Black Cat as well. So what I've done here with the original sort of 2014 release, I just got the torso. So everything else is the retro, but the torso is from the older one here. And it was quite an easy one, really. I just kind of like heated it up, plugged in this bit, plugged in her new arms, and she was fine. I did have to sort of modify the arm pegs just a little bit by just cutting off the end. They was a bit too long, because they were sticking out a little bit too far, but they're fine now. The only other part that I had to do was the ball joint was original black here, and it was just a little bit too low, so when by the head got on here, it was really pushing down onto the actual hair, and the head wasn't fitting on properly, and she just looked too low. So I just had an extra old Star Wars ball joint here that I've kind of cut this one off in half, glued this one on top, and yeah, she just pops on just nicely. She hasn't got really much articulation there, but she can turn left and right. You know, you can sort of probably get a little bit of a look down and a slight look up as well. So all in all, it's not too bad. And now I've got a really decent Felicia Hardy Black Cat on the shelf, and that's not the only thing that I upgraded with her either. So she comes with like quite a static whip. So what I've done, I literally just cut off the end up here and then glued on the wire, and this is the same wire that we used on the tutorial to make Spider-Man's webs. So it's just literally fold it in half and then keep twisting it, so you get this kind of nice effect on there. And yeah, so now she's got a whip that you can manipulate and give off those kind of sort of whipping looking sort of actions as well with her. So yeah, really cool, really pleased how that sort of custom turned out. And then the last two is to add to the Spider-Man shelf. So again, I picked these up to second hand, on which we have silk, because I weren't really too impressed with the silk that's coming with the Doc Ock 2-pack. I really like the look of this silk, so I've gone ahead and purchased this one. And also I purchased the Scarlet Spider because I've just wanted to put him on the shelf, and I love Kane, and I'm actually just starting to read his main sort of comic run there, which came out a few years back, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm just going to stop the video here, and I'm going to review these two individually, so we've actually got a review of them as before they go onto the shelf. So without further ado, let's crack on. So first up, we've got the Scarlet Spider. So this is Kane from the comics. I don't know if you ever read the Spider-Man comics, but in the Clone Wars age, there was Kane. He was like the first Peter Parker clone, and he was all kind of scarred. I think he even like sucked people's lives when he put his hand onto their face and stuff. But since then, he's actually been cured of that disease, and now he's just a generic Spider-Man. But he has these like kind of marks that come out, these kind of fawn things that come out of his wrists, which is really cool. He's a little bit more of a kind of a mixed up Ben Reilly. You know, he's a clone, and he thinks that he's not like, I always find like Ben Reilly kind of sort of mopes about being sort of Peter Parker's life and stuff, but with Kane, he kind of knows who he is. He has been a murderer in the past, and now he's kind of forced into that superhero line because he still has that Peter Parker calling from inside him. It's a really good storyline, to be honest with you. It's a little bit more of a kick-ass Spider-Man. So yeah, just looking at the guy, really, we can go through his articulation here. So he can go left, he can go right, he can look down this far, he can look up as well. He's got a little bit of a swagger in here. It's got a rotation all the way around his arm, and it comes up to this far. Nice little butterfly joint in here as well. He's got the body of I think it was Sunfire, I think that's the name of him. He's got rotation here at the upper arm. He's got a double elbow joint that comes around on this part, rotation at the wrist, and it's also on a hinge. He's got left and right, and he's got an ab crunch and back as well. Leg wise, come up this way, forward, back, upper thigh rotation. We have a double knee as well that comes up to this far, and he's got the rocker, pivot at the ankle, and a boot cut. So I don't think we're going to get an updated one of this one anytime soon. I was kind of thinking hopefully we might even get one on the sort of retro Spider-Man body, but I really think that this guy doesn't really need an update at all for the look of the aesthetic of the figure. I think he's absolutely fine, and he falls in line with the rest of the Spider-Mans really well. And we can just change out this part here, and we can put into his other hand. So this one, he's got like a sort of like open palmed claw one, so he's like going forward, going for the stab, and then obviously the other one here is the closed fist. So yeah, all in all, really cool. And now we'll go on to... So here's Silk. Well, with Silk, I haven't really read into the comics, and that's why I like Marvel Legends. Sometimes it makes me feel like I need to go off and at least read a few things, or even do a bit of a Wikipedia on it. But all I know about Silk is that she got bitten by the original spider that bit Peter, and she's Asian. That's kind of all I know so far with it. So yeah, she's looking really nice here. I really wanted this kind of aesthetic of Silk. The new one with the bobbed hair, I wasn't really too fussed about, to be honest, and I really like the sort of comic look of this one here. She comes with a few accessories, so we go for the hands first. So we have got a kind of grippy kind of hand there. I don't know really why she has this one, because she doesn't even have a web, but she's got a grippy hand. We got an open palmed hand for her right. We have the kind of traditional lady hand, kind of open palmed for the left, and another clenched fist on this one. And then we have an opened palmed hand again, well, a grippy hand for the right. And then last but not least, we have this kind of sort of like web fripping kind of hand with this big mush that comes up on here. It's not a too bad effect. I think we had this with the Spider Woman as well. It seems okay, but you know, it just looks a little bit weird, to be honest with you. And then she has an alternative head with the mask up, with her hair down, But I just like the face. I think it looks great. Just love the comic look of it, and the long flowing hair. It's actually got like a blue wash over the black as well, so pretty cool. But looking at the figure itself, she has these articulation of just like a standard female bod, what we had for a while. So she's got left, right. She can look down. She can look up. I can't remember if she's got a hinge on this one. Let's just have a quick look. So yeah, she's got the hinge, so she can actually look down quite a bit and look up. It's not just a ball joint. Rotation at the arm and up this way. We've got a single elbow joint as well. Rotation at the wrist, and it's also on a hinge. She's got left and right at the sort of diaphragm area here, but nothing else down. It's just rigid. But legs come up this way, forward, back, upper thigh rotation. We've got the double knee that comes all the way up here, and then a rocker and a pivot. So just the basic Marvel Legends sort of articulation of it. She hasn't got the new body and all that, but to be honest, I think the new body's only got the double elbows and a little bit more kind of hip movement. So, in all, it's not really too bad. But yeah, I think she looks absolutely brilliant, and I'm quite glad to put her onto the shelf. So thank you so much for joining me on this hangout this week. I hope you've had a good week as much as me. I'm quite glad that it's actually coming to an end and start of a new week. And next week I should have some more Power Rangers on the way. I know the channel's gone a little bit crazy with Power Rangers, but I'm really into it at the moment, and hopefully we might have some Marvel Legends as well coming down the line. At the time being, Black Series, I'm not too sure, but I may have a custom coming very soon. And here is a hint. I have picked up another Commander Bly. So thank you so much for joining me on this one. Don't forget to subscribe, ding the bell, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.